very good evening to all our viewers and welcome to today's edition of the Evening Review. My name is Tjikuzu, your host. Let's have a look at today's headlines. Tonight on the show we are joined by Ngaijake Tjikuzu. He was elected last weekend as Secretary General of Swanu, the oldest party in the country, after a group of party members held what they called an extraordinary congress of the party, at which leaders like him were elected. Welcome to the show, Mr. Tjikuzu.
Thank you for having me here.
Yes, thank you. You were elected as Secretary General of the party, new Secretary General of the party. Just give us the background to that, since we also know that Evilastus Kaaronda is sitting in that position as Secretary General of the party also.
Yeah, thank you. Swanu had a conference, an all-branch conference, on the 22nd of May this year, which was held at Okovimburu in Epokiro region, to which 12 branch members convened with the view of reshaping the party. There was a motion of non-confidence set into the old leadership, which was led by Comrade Tangeni, with the lack of Kaaronda, as you are calling them. I have got a press release thereof later on, which I can probably provide you with for a clear picture on this. One of the members before this meeting requested the party leadership for audience on issues that were not addressed. The members realized that there were a lot of things that the then leadership didn't do. As a result, we convened in Epokiro. That's where the motion of non-confidence was passed in the old leadership. Upon this, after this meeting, we served the previous leadership with the motion of non-confidence, which was unanimously adopted by the meeting. And we, as per the meeting decision, called for the extraordinary congress. All members were invited, the Tangenis and the Evilastus and all members, also the members were invited, which they refused to attend. And as a result, the extraordinary congress, which was convened on the 21st, that was last Saturday, reaffirmed the decision of the meeting we took, which took place in Epokiro, and as a result, a new leadership was elected.
The new leadership was elected. There was a press conference held by Dr. Tangeni Yambo, I believe, with Mr. Kaaronda, in which, or at which they dismissed your event is a non-event, and therefore that your election or the election of yourself and others is null and void. What is the constitutionality? What was the constitutionality of your gathering? In other words, I'm sure as the oldest party in the country, you have procedures that you follow to convene a meeting as big as an extraordinary meeting. In what way did you think that your meeting was fairly and fully constitutional?
Yeah, the Swanu Constitution states in Article 10.1 that the Central Committee may call for an extraordinary Congress. If not the Central Committee, then 1/3 of the branches may call for an extraordinary Congress if they are not happy or if they find that there are issues that has got to be discussed. And as a result, we didn't just go for an extraordinary Congress without having consulted the Constitution. That was a constitutional principle that we were following. As for them, they are claiming that it was not constitutional. We were asking them to clarify where in the Constitution where it is written in the Constitution which we violated. But there are no answers from them.
Yeah. Now, what happened between Saturday and today, Mr. Tjikuzu, insofar as your resumption of duties is concerned? I'm sure your party has its head office, headquarters where the leadership sits. When are you ascending to your seat, actually, as Secretary General? Not just in theory, but actually the physical seat.
Yeah, this is not a very, very simple issue.
Yeah.
Because these colleagues still maintain that they are still in the leadership. All properties are still resorting under them. What we are to do now is to convene as the new leadership and write them officially a letter requesting them. In fact, we are not here to try and create a division within the party. So we want to resolve these problems amicably. We are going to write them a letter to inform them on what decisions the Congress took and to request them to vacate and hand over. But I am of the opinion that they would not accept it, as they didn't accept the Congress outcome already. So, should that not happen, then legal actions would be the next to follow.
Indeed.
Yeah.
One of the assertions that were made at the press conference held on Monday by what you're calling the old leadership is that I think Mr. Tangani Yambo himself made the remarks to the effect that he's being victimized or isolated because he's on the tribal basis, that he's a Shivambo speaking, and therefore Swanu, obviously being a predominantly of a Herero speaking people's party, he feels that has been actually the underlying reason why his leadership is being undermined.
That is a point. That is a point to laugh at, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let me say, Tangeni didn't ascend only to presidency in Swanu. He started long back as a Secretary General of Swanu.
Yes.
Under the leadership of Comrade Mamberwa. He served 2 terms as a Secretary General while he was a Vambu. He then was elected again as the president of the party while he's a Vambu. Why would it be now different if the membership says he must vacate the position because he's not working? These assertions that he is making is actually a scapegoat that he is trying to use. We had presidents like Imbu Wirap. He was a Damara speaking person. What is wrong with it to be another tribe? He is not trying to bring the party into disrepute. He himself as a president of the party,
Yeah.
was supposed to set up mechanism that would discipline people who are discriminating, either by, through ethnic discrimination,
Yeah.
sexual discrimination, whatever. But such organ does not exist. And he himself is now the one who is running to the media, trying to make the party a tribal organization. How do you call that?
Yeah. Fair enough. Now, Mr. Tjikuzu, let's go back a little bit.
Excuse me.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, sorry about that. So, yeah, sure. While you're switching off, I'll just say to you that what specific issues have led to the discontent among the rank and file of the party, as you assume to be the case? What is it that
Charles, I'm in a meeting, sorry.
Yeah, sure. Or either off or you can just put on silence. Okay, thank you. So what are the issues in the party that, what is happening in the party or not happening in the party that has led your group to be feeling the way it feels about what you're calling the old leadership of the party?
Yeah. As we said, Swanu has a constitution.
Yeah.
Now, among other things, the Central Committee of the party, of Swanu, is the second highest body that is supposed to oversee the work of the Politburo.
Yeah.
Now, according to the constitution of the party, the Central Committee should convene 4 times a year. Since Yambo came to power, the last Central Committee meeting that took place was in April 2018. That means, in other words, for the past 3 years, 12 Central Committee meetings didn't convene. What does that actually mean to us? It means that he took the power and disbanded the Central Committee, which is unconstitutional. Now, if he is talking about unconstitutionalities, then he should start with that. We tried so many times to request him to convene a Central Committee meeting.
Yeah.
That never happened. It's among one of those issues. The next, Swanu had never before had any sponsorship. Swanu today is getting money from the parliament because of the seat that he possesses. No reports, no financial reports are being made. When we are talking about the elections that took place last, there were many candidates of ours. I can cite some examples like in Okahanja, Okahanja Town Council, the Matako constituency. Is it Matako constituency?
Yeah.
We had candidates that were supposed to take to contest. This in Katima as well. These people could not, because their papers were not sent in, and they were supposed to be sent in from the head office.
Yeah.
If we look at how the party is trailing today, I'm telling you, Swanu could have garnered even more than 1 seat in the last election, because there were a lot of signs that could lead to that, but they were never utilized. So, in nutshell, let me say, the leadership as a whole, and it should be well understood that the Extraordinary Congress didn't remove Tangeni Iyambo as a person. The motion of non-confidence was placed in both the Central Committee and the Politburo because of their non-functionality.
Now, in the press statement of Dr. Iyambo, he says that in what you just alluded to, the fact that 12 Central Committee meetings did not take place. He says, since assumption of power in 2018, we convened 2 Central Committee meetings. Therefore, from there, the leadership experienced a barrage of resignations, abstentions, destruction of party reputation, deliberate inaction, and laxity from appointed officials in high positions. Lest do we realize that the syndicate was all along at work. So he's trying to assume, he's painting a picture of deliberate stayaways from these meetings so that they do not take place, maybe because of lack of quorum or whatever, so that then we come to a point now like we are to say, oh, these meetings were not taking place and therefore you are incompetent, when in fact, according to him, they were deliberate stayaways from people who were supposed to attend these meetings. He's saying it's a syndicate.
Yeah.
How do you respond to that?
Let me ask you the question of what should the president have done? You cannot tell me that people were resigning.
Yeah.
What are the causes? Mm-hmm. Did he investigate the causes that led to the resignation of members? Mm. Who are those members that he is referring to?
Yeah.
And secondly, and this is a question of as to whether he was having a cohesive leadership, or where did the problem lies that led to the resignations? Yeah, yeah. Now, if he tried to turn it into what he termed a syndicate that was on at work, I doubt. Yeah. And again, it's good that you are bringing this point. Let us go back to the question of the Constitution. Say the Congress elects the president, and then the president nominates members to his cabinet or to his Politburo. After this, the Congress itself approves or disapproves those nominees. Now, you are talking about Evilastus Kaaronda, for example. Evilastus Kaaronda joined Swanu when? Almost 3 weeks ago. You take a person coming from another party, you come and give him a high position like that one, the Secretary General. And again, I'm not talking about the Evilastus as a Secretary General or whatever it is. Yeah. Let me talk about all those people that he says resigned. Yeah. He replaced them. But now, after replacing them, what constitutional procedures did he use? He was supposed to call for the Central Committee to come in and give blessing to his nominees. But not to us as we see it. It was like just hiring and firing as you wish. If I would go back today into the positions, we can start with the Secretary General position. Comrade Yakari, who was the Secretary General, resigned. Publicly, he went to the news media, announced his resignation. Reasons given were apparently workload or something that he had his own private work to go and do. As we are talking now, Yakari is back in the leadership. I do not know which position he held. We go to the position of a national organizer. First it was Kahorere, the next time it was Comrade Kawami, let his soul rest in peace. Then it was Comrade Moharukwa. Just like that, people are just coming in and going, and it is because of him. If you are a leader, you would first of all go back to the grassroots and ask yourself the question, what are the causes of these resignations? If he does not have an answer to that, he must not come with excuses.
Indeed. So As we conclude this conversation, Mr. Tjikuzu, so let's assume for a minute that the Iambo leadership vacates office as per your demands of the new leadership. How are you going to make sure that, because what you want is, Swanu is the oldest party, but it's not one of the biggest parties in the country. And that is best displayed by the fact that you have one seat in parliament, among other indicators. Unity for a party as small as yours is very, very important ahead of 2024 and subsequent elections. With this kind of divisions already now, is it to say, once you get into office, would you want a scenario like the one that is unfolding now, where another group within the party, whether it's led by Yambo or someone else, sits behind your back, elects a new leadership and say, Mr. Tjikuzu, please vacate the office, you are no longer Secretary General? Is that not a dangerous precedence that you are setting?
Well, I'm sure any action has got a reason.
Yeah.
And should another group or a group of members feel dissatisfied in us, they are welcome to come to us and tell us, no, we are not approving of what you are doing.
Yeah.
Obviously, and that is the mistake that Yambo and his leadership did. The failure to listen to the members. We called, we wrote, we requested for audience, which he didn't offer to the membership.
When you say we, you are referring to who?
I was a member of the Politburo in Yambo's leadership. As members, we wrote him letters suggesting what to be done.
Yeah.
We wrote even, I remember of one letter that we wrote with challenges and possible causes and possible solutions. They never worked onto it. They just put it under the carpet. So in our case, to try and stop the repetition of what has happened today, among others, and that is one problem that we were having in what we are having in this party, the flow of information to the members is very, very poor. It's never even happening. Let me just say that. And that is the reason why members are getting disillusioned. That's why the members are not following or doing what is supposed to be done. So among those activities that we are now going to try and streamline is the mobilization of members, visiting branches, fitting them in with informations. Because we do not want anybody to go and guess on what we are doing. Reports are never given. So, and again, as I said, we didn't come to these positions because we are power hungry or we are greedy for positions. And this is the democratic right of the Swanu members to call for a new leadership if they find that our leadership is dysfunctional. This is a way we are going to try and avoid such the repetition of such situations, such scenarios. And again, we believe in democracy. So we cannot stand like them who are today even denying that there was a Congress. And constitutionally it is written there, Article 10.1 states 1/3 of the branches can call for an extraordinary Congress.
Indeed. Mr. Tjikuzu, thank you for coming and all the best in your new endeavors.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Ngaijake Tjikuzu, he is the Secretary General of Swanu, according to him.
Not to me, it's according to the extraordinary Congress decision.
According to the event that was held last weekend in Windhoek and where he was elected as such. Thank you for watching.